Good evening, good evening. DJ messed up tonight, right, Jeff?
That's gonna cut it right there.
Good
DJ
evening.
Mahogany.
Mahogany.
Okay, so we starting the week off. Good evening, and welcome to Conversations with Entrepreneurs. And I am Alethea Brown with Mahogany Productions. And I'm joined here today with my co-host. Let's start with you tonight, Chanel.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Chanel Varner, founder and CEO of Moonglade Travel.
And Jeff.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff White with Jeff White Fitness Solutions. Happy to see everybody. We're missing two of our prized people tonight, but we're thinking about them in spirit. Julie and Dion.
Shout out to Julie and Dion. We miss you. So tonight we're going to talk about, and I've seen this topic on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So what is the entrepreneur's mindset when you need to return to corporate America? It was kind of like a flip side. So it's like the pandemic, kind of made people want to think about being entrepreneurs, but as it's dragging out, some people are probably wanting to go back to corporate America. So wanted to kind of get your take on how you feel about that and anything you've experienced that's similar. I'll start with you, Chanel.
When I think about, and we hear about it often, but when I think about entrepreneurs who have been completely, focused on their dream, their passion, their business, having to go back into the workforce, what I think about is just give yourself grace. We call it a journey for a reason. There's ups and downs, there's highs and lows. And sometimes this is just a piece. This isn't the end all be all. Just because you've had to go back into corporate America or, another job, full-time, part-time job, doesn't mean that this is now your end or this is now, the path that you've reset on. It's just a part of the journey. Go into it with a positive mind, stay focused on your true passion and where your vision is leading you, and do it for the time period that it needs to be done. I was reading a devotional today, and it was talking about stress and worry and concern. Regardless of the situation that you're in it for like a reason, a season, or a moment. Get what you need, and then keep it moving. So I think if that's the mindset that we shift from, instead of, oh man, I failed, and now I have to go back to this, day job or corporate America, avenue or situation, that's not the case. I think that is going to set us up for failure. It's going to set us up for a lot of depression and stress and anxiety that can be avoided. So I think if we shift our mindset to, it's okay, this is where we are, and use it as a stepping stone to pivot or even grow your business, I think that would definitely help a lot of entrepreneurs out who are faced with that, tough decision.
I agree, Jeff.
Yeah, she said pretty much everything I wanted to say, and I agree 100%. For a lot of people, it can be very humbling to have to go back, and then it questions you. You may start to question yourself and your ability. And you don't want to do that, because let's just face reality. Businesses are expensive, and you have expenses that don't stop. You got to pay rent or mortgage. You got to eat. You got all types of bills, gas. So you got to pay your bills some kind of way. And we all know, well, if you don't know, when you're an entrepreneur, your money fluctuates. 1 month you can do great. The next month you can have nothing coming in, and that can really, really hurt you and your business and your life. So if you have to get a job, it's okay. I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm including myself in this, it can be a really hard decision to make, or soul searching, because I don't really talk about this aspect of my life and my business much, but I had to get a part-time job when I left corporate America. And I hated every minute of it. And I held out for as long as I could. I got to the point, it's like, okay, if I don't do this, we gonna end up being homeless. And my wife was like, man, you gotta do something. this ain't working. You gotta do something. So I had to get a part-time job because I was making money, but I wasn't making enough to survive. So I had to get a part-time job, and I did it for a while, and I was able to kind of get back on my feet. But all the while, I was like, this, like Chanel said, this is temporary. Do what you got to do and keep it moving. So if you got to get that job, do what you got to do. It's just that simple, and it's okay, because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Not only that, this is a lifestyle. You can work in corporate America and still have the entrepreneur mindset, because once you got to do what you got to do at that job, when you off the clock, that's when you work on your business. And Steve Harvey said it once a long time ago: let your main job finance your side job. And that is oh so true. And do you know how much less pressure you have on yourself if you know you got that little check coming in, a guaranteed check every 2 weeks? It's like, hey, I got this. Now I can focus on paying these bills. But at the same time, that's not my end all be all. This is not where I stop. This job is going to help me propel my business to future, big things. Like with me, for example, my job helped me buy additional books so I can go to book fairs and book expos. It helped me pay for, licenses that I had to get. It helped me do all types of things to help finance and grow my business. Websites ain't free. That stuff, you got to pay for that stuff. So, shipping and all that stuff costs money. So you got to do what you got to do, but it's okay. And I'm, like I said, I'm speaking for myself. I hated it every minute of it. I hated walking in and having people tell me what to do. And I'm looking at you like, come on, dude. And I couldn't let them read. Thank God they couldn't read my mind. So if they did, I probably would have fired me on day 2. But do what you got to do. You just got to humble yourself and keep a low profile. But at the end of the day, while you may be right here with them, your mind is way over there somewhere on your business and growing your business.
I agree. I think one of the things I had to teach myself when I first started saying, okay, I'm just going to focus on making films. My screenplay is going to make films. Had already declared to my husband and my daughter, in 2017, I'm quitting corporate America. I'm going to make this script. I'm going to have this good film and this, that, and the other stuff. And then reality set in. Just because you got a good script or you think you got a good script, everybody don't think you got a good script. And even if they say they want to give you money to finance your film, doesn't mean they're going to give it to you right then and there. There's a whole lot of hurdles that you got to jump over before you can even come close to. And there was so much then that I learned that I didn't know about being a film producer. Being a screenwriter came easy. Being a film producer was a hard struggle for me. And it was a roller coaster ride. And I had to come to terms like, okay, I gotta go back to corporate America. I can't do this roller coaster ride. Like, the money's not coming in for this film like I thought it was going to do. People aren't throwing checks at me and say, here, go ahead and go in production. There's a whole lot of stuff you have to do. And so I didn't let it discourage me, because like, okay, I know I want to do this. But the reality did set in. It just, nothing happens overnight. And I had to accept that. And then I had to be more patient with the process. So the idea that someone says, oh, I love your project and I would love to, do something like, so I had to stop getting excited about it, because I'm up here on a high, and then a week later, another script passed the high, and then they don't forget all about me, and they're not answering my emails, and so it's a high and a low, and a high and a low. So in that process, you got to say, okay, maybe I need to deal with corporate America just on a low while I'm working through these processes and all these little different software things I need to convert my script to. It's not going to come out of dust. I need that job, like you were saying, Chanel, help cover those business expenses. So it's a lot of different processes. But like Jeff was saying, it is something that you have to do, even if it's a part-time job. Still got to take care of home. Lights got to still be on. I can't work on, internet got to be paid, all these little different things. So it's not something to beat yourself up about. And I had to teach myself this, not to beat myself up about, and to say like, okay, let me call this temp agency and see if they got something. It's not that you're not succeeding. It's just the process takes some time. There is so much that we know in our heart that we want to do, but at the end of the day, there's still so much we need to learn. And I think as entrepreneurs, we have to really focus on that there are still things that we need to learn about maintaining our business, every step that it's going to take to even just get it up and running. And like Jeff said, websites don't come cheap. There are things, products, everything that you're going to need for your business, all these things, they don't come cheap, and you still have your household expenses. So if you're in that process, it's a budget managing process to make that determination. Should I leave? We to cut back the hours, but be prepared for, what it's going to take to be an entrepreneur full time. But if you have to go back, if it's just because of funding, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't feel like Chanel said, you didn't fail, you haven't failed. Now the journey continues. Just because you got to take a step back, revamp, just to get the funding that you need, because not all of us, and we've had this conversation some months back, not all of us qualify for SBA. Those loans and all the other stuff, a lot of us don't qualify for. I haven't even figured that trick out yet at all. So don't be discouraged if you have to go. Because, you got to hang your head low or whatever. You're making your money for your home, for your business. And there are a lot of us that go through it. So it's just, don't be ashamed about it, because we done told you, we done been there, we done that. So that's definitely it. I think one of the other things too, Jeff, I was thinking about was, like at the beginning of the pandemic, it seems to be a trend has started where people were jumping out and turning their side hustles into a business. And so then there were a lot of businesses that was closing while other people were finding ways to start a business. I'm wondering, as the pandemic seems to be an uptick or something, or whether or not it's going to be a flip side now, are those people who were thriving as entrepreneurs now finding that they need to go back to corporate America too? What's your take on that? You and Chanel, what's your idea on that? Do you think that can be a possibility?
Chanel, I'll go. It's very possible, because what people have to remember is you can't start a business based on emotion. We all have had bad days at our jobs, and I can say for myself, I'm gonna speak mainly for myself. There have been many days I was driving to my job, many days when I was in corporate America, and I'm thinking, because I live in Florida, I'm thinking, if I go straight instead of making this right, I'd be at the beach. And when I get to the beach, I'm gonna call them and say I quit. I'm gonna take off these Stacey Adams and these dress socks, and I'm gonna walk on this sand, and I'm gonna walk in and roll my trousers up because they dry clean on, and walk on the beach and live happily ever after. But reality is, your bills will make sure you don't live happily ever after if you don't pay them. So the key, in my opinion, don't let your emotions get to you. Don't let that boss get to you. Don't let that crazy coworker with the bad breath who's always coughing next to you get to you. Don't let your emotions get to you. Have your plan, have a strategy, have an exit strategy. You got to work on your business and get something going, something concrete that you can say, hey, I got this going, I'm making a little bit of money, before you just branch out. So a lot of people, they get fed up, they tired, and they see all these people doing well, but they don't talk about the stuff that we're talking about tonight. They don't talk about the dark side of being an entrepreneur that we've talked about in the past. All they see is the good. You got to know the good and the bad. And the bad is, you can have some months where you're like, oh Lord, I don't know how I'm gonna make it. I might be on the street. Oh my goodness, they said they're gonna pay me today, and they tell me they won't be able to have my money for 2 more weeks. And I've been there too. And I've literally had breakdowns where I'm literally crying because I'm so frustrated because someone said they're going to pay me and they didn't. And I already had in my mind that I got this money and I'm going to be able to do this, this, and this. And then like, now I got to start over. And it's so frustrating. So you got to have a plan and you cannot let your emotions get to you. So there will be some people who, you know, stepped out because of the pandemic, and I commend you, but if you got to get a job, even if it's a part-time job, it's okay. The key for you is, remember, being an entrepreneur is a lifestyle, and this is a lifestyle, which means for the rest of your life. So you can still have the entrepreneur mindset, but if you got to work someplace, even part-time, it's okay, because we've all done it. There's nothing we want to talk about, nothing we enjoy, but it's something you have to do. And if that's what you got to do during this pandemic to get back on your feet, to keep your business going, you do what you got to do. But there will be some people who have to, you know, go back, unfortunately, but it's the reality, but it's okay.
So now that I'm past the visual of Jeff and Stacey Adams over there at the beach, and got the pants leg up to the knees and everything.
You think I'm joking? I was serious. I mean, I got to the point where I hated even thinking about that place. It was making me sick. I didn't like, especially one of my bosses, they got on my nerves. And it was like, I can't do this. And my wife knows me. She knows I get to the point. It's like, he ain't gonna last much long at this place. Because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, because I've started businesses before and I like doing my own thing. And I have a real problem with people I don't respect taking orders from them. I'm just being honest. Sometimes you gotta be honest with yourself. Maybe you're meant to be an entrepreneur, but you don't know how to go about it. But you gotta learn and study and get something going before you say, I quit. That only works in the movies. In the real world, you gotta pay them bills. You gotta have some type of product or service that is on point. And if you don't have it, you're gonna be right back at that job or a different job, because it may have you ineligible for rehire. So you can't go back.
Yeah, because they will do that. Some people will do it. Chanel?
Jeff, I am laughing at you because I would have been on the beach. If I had to choose, that's a tough decision for me. It's like travel, not travel. Y'all know where I'm going every time. So I think that's critical. But Jeff, you made a point, having that exit strategy. We've talked about it, you know, when to know it's time for you to exit corporate America, to solely focus on, you know, your passion and your dream. But then what about having a reentry strategy? You know, okay, we have reached this, you know, point or this crossroad in entrepreneurship along the journey. And now it's time for us to re-enter into corporate America. And like we talked about, I think it's just about, number one, having that grace. Really do not beat yourself up. If you come to that crossroad, have that lens of, this is a part of the journey. It's short term, it's temporary, it's going to serve its purpose. And Jeff, I think you talked about trusting the process. It's all, you know, a part of the process. You don't know what you're going to learn during this period or season in your life that can help you be better in your business, be a better business owner, be a better, you know, service provider, be a better entrepreneur. You don't know who you're going to meet. Maybe a potential investor, a potential customer that could really, you know, pivot your business in a direction you never saw coming. You know, you don't know how you're going to grow along that way on your journey based on this now position. So I think, like you said, it's just changing your lens and your perspective when it comes to re-entering corporate America, or, you know, full-time work for someone else outside of your business. But another key to that is balance. You know, from 9 to 5 or 7 to 7 or whatever your schedule is, you're going hard and, you know, for someone else's goal, for someone else's vision and purpose. But don't forget to give that same, you know, energy to your passion, your goals, and your interests. So I think it's finding that balance. And it's, of course, it's easier said than done. We've all talked about the many hats that we wear in entrepreneurship and, you know, the challenges that we face, but don't forget the, you know, the end goal, whatever your end goal is when it comes to your business, is staying focused and, you know, riding out the journey wherever it may take you along the way.
I agree. Everybody's journey is different. And, you know, again, like we stress, we have bills to pay. You know, the business has expenses. You know, so it's a journey. It's an entrepreneur journey. There's ups and downs, like Chanel says, highs and lows. But at the end of the day, it can be all worth it. So don't get discouraged. We're all been there. So you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. So I definitely agree with that.
I think that, and I don't know too many people who, went to sleep one night and woke up a successful business owner. Not too many people, we may read about it, hear about it, watch a movie or two, but, a real entrepreneur is going to tell you, like, it is a process. It is truly a journey. And along the way, there are highs or lows, but as long as you stay focused and true to your mission, you'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
I agree.
One thing I want to say, if a person is an entrepreneur, they have to go back to work. You want to remember that you don't want to drain all your energy at that job, so you can't get home and work on your business. Ideally, if you got to go get a job, get one that does not conflict with your business. Like for me, I'm a writer. I have to write, and sometimes I got to write complex stuff that I have to really focus and concentrate on. So a part-time job for me would be something totally mindless, where I don't have to focus and concentrate and really work hard. Like when I was working in the financial services industry, that was a lot of mental draining work. And then it was really hard to go back home and write. So look at what your business is and say, okay, if I got to go back to work someplace, what can I do that will not conflict with my main goal, which is to get this business going? Like if your entrepreneurial job is a physical job where you're on your feet and working, don't get a day job where you're on your feet. Try to find a day job where you're sitting down. So just think about that, because a lot of people fall into the trap, and I see this all the time, where they want to be an entrepreneur, but they put so much of their heart and soul into their day job, they don't have the energy to work on their business. Then a day go by, a week go by, a month goes by, a year goes by, and they sit in the same spot, complain about the same things. And it's not necessarily their fault. They're just too mentally drained. And they just got so busy wrapped up into that job. Then they start getting overtime. And next thing you know, they're just totally ingrained in that employee lifestyle. And you gotta remember, little things like that that can affect you and your ability to be a successful entrepreneur. So you just gotta, you gotta have a strategy, you gotta have a plan. And that's very important in my opinion. Even just a little part-time job may help you, but you want to make sure you have enough energy to work on your entrepreneurial endeavors too.
Yeah, I think balance, Jeff. Like you said, if you are going for somebody else, and at the end of the day, you have nothing left to pour into your own business, where does that leave you? You're getting behind on deadlines. You're not meeting, your target outcomes or milestones for your business. And then what happens? It's a year later, and now you feel discouraged. Now you feel like you really can't, take your business to the next level, or, your chance of success in your eyes are a lot less now at this point, because you've lost the energy, you've lost the umph, not necessarily the passion, but the spark that you originally had. So I think it is very important to find balance when we're looking at reentry into the workforce.
I definitely agree with that, because getting yourself back structured and organized to someone else's expectation, as opposed to how you had yourself structured to focus on your business tasks. It can be very different and a little daunting, probably the first 30 days, just getting situated, especially if you're having to go back in the office now too after the pandemic. So even if you're not remote, you're working your business, where you're doing, at home or what have you. But now that people are getting pulled back into, the offices, that's going to be another change to be able to deal with too, if you're finding yourself in that situation now. So that's going to require a lot of adjustment, but like Chanel said, don't get discouraged. Don't let it discourage you. Let's see, Jeff was right. Yeah, there you go.
I was at an event this weekend, and I was talking to someone and she confided in me that she liked some of my posts on Facebook because I can be outspoken on Facebook and on social media, my YouTube, whatever. And the reason why I can say some things I do, because I ain't got no job. because some things you say can get you in trouble at your job.
Yes.
And she said, I love your post and I can't reply or comment or like because someone may see it, I can get in trouble. So my point is this. When you work for someone else, it can really handcuff you and prevent you from saying and doing certain things that you want to do. So find whatever you need to do to keep you motivated to do your business. So you do your day job, but give yourself some type of stimulation or some type of motivation to continue to do your entrepreneurial thing. Because there's a study out saying a lot of people are saying that they would not go back to work or they would quit their job if they have to get vaccinated. But studies are showing a lot of people are getting vaccinated because they need that job. Well, this is more motivation for you to work that much harder to make your business work. So yes, you may have to go back and that's cool, but find some type of motivation to keep you going so you don't get sucked in, for a long term having to work for someone else. So, it's just do what you got to do, but remember why you want to be an entrepreneur in the first place and use that as your motivation. See, my motivation is I talk too much. I can be outspoken. Some things I see in the public make me angry and I got to talk about it. And if I had my previous job in the financial services industry, they would have took all my licenses a long time ago because I talk too much about gold and silver and how I don't like the stock market. So it's little things like that you have to remember to keep you motivated to stay out there. And it's important just to stay true to yourself too. Don't let that job, even if you got to get that job, just change who you are as a person. Because a lot of times that job will just totally make you someone you don't want to be. And you want to be very careful with that too.
And I agree with you too on the financing too. So if you're going back to work in corporate America, the same reason you're going back for your other bills, your business is a bill too. So when you're working that budget, when you go back, remember, allocate X amount of funding that you can for what it is that you want to do for your business. So you still have that liquid building to go back to whatever phase it is you need to get past the reason before you went back to corporate America. So just structuring yourself, staying organized and staying motivated. That like you just said, that's a struggle. When you're doing your own thing and then you got to go back and you got to get adjusted to what they want you to do, how they want you to do it in time frame they want you to do it in, and then you got to go home. Now, if you got the kids and dog and all this other stuff, is like, just don't get discouraged. At the end of the day, your dream and your passion and what you want can be better for you and your family than the corporate America position. If that's not enough of motivation, then, revamp the thought process.
Jeff said, set yourself free. Set yourself free. I agree, Jeff. I mean, on many, many levels. Many levels. I totally agree. But I've been there. Day job, you're going, like I said, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever. And I have 3 kids and a whole live husband. So, I still have to be a mom and a wife, a whole live husband. And then run a successful business. So there were times where, my day started at 6 and then until 2 a.m. because I was, 9 to 5 in it. I was, momming it from 5 to 8 and I was wifing it from 8 to 10. And, then I still had my own personal things that I needed to do because we've all talked about our self-care, mental health. And then here it is, 11 to 1. I'm trying to, respond to emails, get quotes out, get trips planned, get, all the things that I need to do to run a successful business. And because I know what my mission is, I know what my goal is. So, we pour into so many pots and areas of our lives, but we have to find balance and we have to stay true to our passion and our vision in life. But it's doable, but don't burn yourself out. Learn from me, don't do it. It's not healthy.
It's like I got this song ringing in my head. Take this job and shove it. I'm not working here no more. Get the mindset. Don't say it out loud. Don't put it on a post-it note in your cube. But just
Don't post it on Facebook.
exactly. Exactly. And that's a good segue too, because September is self-care month. And working in corporate America, or even just running your business or doing both, self-care should be an everyday thing, because it's mind, body, spirit for what you need to do to stay structured, stay organized, so you accomplish your goals as an employee and as an entrepreneur. Balancing the two E's. Chanel looking like Julie now, she's taking notes all the time. You see it?
I didn't know September was self-care month. How did I miss that? Oh my God, that's important.
It's like we got like 3 more days, and I'm like, you got 3 more days, self-care.
I will blitz it. I will blitz it out. This is a 3-day self-care extravaganza.
That's right up your alley.
Right.
Like your cup. Show them your cup.
No bad days, no bad days, no bad days.
Yeah.
Gotta tell yourself,
That's
no
total.
bad days. It's mindset. Seriously, it's mindset.
Mhm.
When we wake up and we're like, man, I gotta go to this job again today. I gotta go in here and deal with these people. Then that's what you're gonna go in there and do, is deal with these people. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna knock it out, because I know on the 15th, I'm gonna be able to have enough to redo my website, or I'm gonna go ahead and get that bonus so that I can re-up on my supplies or my products or whatever it is. It's really just about mindset and staying true to the goal at hand. Not easy, but yeah, I think if we have that shift in our thought pattern and our thinking, I'm actually reading a book I need to share with y'all. It's talking about getting out of your own head. Stop overthinking everything. You're here for a reason. This thing is happening for a reason. It's really just about what are you going to do, and what are you in control of? Or maybe this is just about, you're supposed to be in traffic right now, because you don't know, if you weren't in traffic, you would have been in an accident, not you in traffic behind the accident. So it's really just about trusting the process.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. Yep. And also, this is a very important conversation, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs suffer in silence. Like they may see they have money crunches, and they think that, I like you said, it's a failure, that I got to go back, and it can hurt your ego. It really can, because you have all these lofty goals, but it's all about the mindset and the reality of the world. It may not even be your fault that you have to go back. A lot of times it's just not your fault. It's just the way the world is. It's just really difficult to get businesses going, and your money is stretched in so many different ways. So I think it's important that entrepreneurs understand it. It's okay. It's okay that you have to go back, and just remember that it's only a temporary thing, because you will be back in the capacity that you want to be when the time is right. But it's all about mindset. It's all about pacing yourself and having a strategy, but you can do it. Just know that this isn't the end of the road.
Jeff, I think that's what.
Go ahead, Chanel.
Go ahead, Olivia. So I think that's a good point, Jeff. I can recall a position that I had many years ago, and I went in there every day kicking and screaming. I could not stand it. It was the worst thing ever. But I think back and I realized that people that I was able to meet, like I said, it's what can I learn, who can I meet, and how can I grow professionally, personally, or in my business. And I think about, I've met people that I still talk to years later, who are now my clients, or now business partners, or whatever. I think just regardless of the situation, whether how uncomfortable it may be, think about, okay, what can I learn from this? I can learn what not to do. I can learn what to do. I can learn how to do things better. Or who am I meeting? What can I learn from this person? Or how can this person influence me in my future? Or how can I influence them? You never know. I've had interns from years ago that I still communicate with, and they're like, seriously, recently someone said, and I beat myself, I'm my worst critic. I recently did an interview, and it was, to me, it was horrible. I was like, oh my gosh, can't believe you did that. Can't believe you said that. Did you see how your hair was looking? And somebody literally called me and was like, I was watching something, And I wasn't even paying attention. I was getting ready to turn the channel, but I saw you come on. And you gave me so much hope and inspiration just in that segment. And I couldn't believe, I was like, oh my gosh. And here I am beating myself up about it. And I needed to be there at that very moment for someone else to see me in what I thought was my worst, but really inspire them at that moment. So I think we really have to get out of our own head in our own way a lot of times.
Because you never know how something that you say can motivate someone else. You know, is targeted for them. You said it because this is something that you normally live by, but then saying it and having that forum, you actually help someone. You never know when you're saying something that could help somebody else. So it's always a blessing to be that way. I'm going to throw you and Jeff for a loop now. So top number 5, self-care. Name 5 things self-care for entrepreneurs. I want to put the list up, so I'm going to throw it at you. Y'all already said a couple of them, just repeating for me. Top 5 self-care for entrepreneurs.
To me, self-care is anything that brings you joy. So it could be drinking a glass of wine, it could be going for a walk, it could be reading a book. I love going to get a massage or a pedicure. But maybe it's just 15 extra minutes in the morning. That quiet time. I'll get up earlier while everybody's still asleep, and I can go sit out on my balcony and have a cup of tea, listen to the birds. Just something so simple and trivial, but whatever it is that brings you joy. I think we think of self-care and it has to be this lavish, expensive, time-consuming thing, but it's really not. It really is not. It's whatever that brings you joy and peace in the moment. So those are a couple of things to me. I love my wine. Everybody knows that. I love a good massage. I love to travel. But, you know, just those simple things. Going for a walk. Listening to good music. So I don't know if that's 5, but there go a couple.
Jeff?
I was thinking about it as Chanel was talking. And I had a restful weekend. Even though I had an event on Saturday. You know why my weekend was restful? Because I did not open my computer since Friday. I did not touch my computer. I did no writing, and I didn't have to think about writing, nothing. I was out talking to people, which quite frankly, I enjoyed, because I hadn't been to an event in like 2 years, and I missed being around people and just talking to people. At first I didn't want to go because of COVID and, but I enjoyed that. So that was almost like my self-care was not opening my computer for an entire weekend. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the first time I've done that. It had to be in about 5 years that I have not done some type of work on my computer on a weekend where I didn't open it for 2 full days. And I'm just laying around on the couch like, this is great. I'm loving this. That was self-care for me. Another thing for me, self-care is I like to exercise. I like to ride my bike because, again, I'm not on my phone looking up articles or researching. I'm not on my computer. I'm on my bike. I'm outside getting fresh air and my mind can wander. For me, that's self-care. Another self-care for me is literally sitting on my patio and just getting some sun, some vitamin D on me. And that is my version of self-care. Ideally, if I could, I would love to travel like Chanel, but I just can't do that right now. That is the ultimate self-care to me. But you don't have to, like you say, it don't have to be extravagant. It could be something as simple as sitting down for 15 minutes with no distractions and just let your mind just rest. So I think a big problem a lot of us have is our mind is going this way, 24/7. We don't give ourselves time to just relax. We always got something to think about. We always got to do this. We got to do this. We got to think about this. Oh, we got to do this right now. Just put it down. Let your mind just relax just for a minute. So as soon as we wake up, we got a million things in our head. That's stressful. But if you can just sit back and relax, I think that's total self-care. But how you do it is up to you. And for me, riding my bike, shutting my computer, and sitting on the patio are great ways of self-care for me.
Yeah, because if you don't do it yourself, your body will find a way to make you sit still.
Oh, it definitely will.
Been there several times. Anybody said, that's it, I've had a lady, you crazy. I'm not doing this with you. No, we sitting down. No, We ain't doing nothing. No, turn that TV on, put a cable channel on, leave me be, and just lay down on that pillow and watch TV for me for a while. So your body will let you know when it needs a break and give it to yourself. Self-care falls under that. The travel thing, like Chanel, I've been enjoying those weekend DC excursions that Tati has been creating. They have been so much fun, going to all the different museums and everything. So we haven't got a chance, like Jeff said, where Chanel, we ain't been able to get where Chanel we going, but we working our way up to it. We're going to do it. I'm sure Tati be calling you soon for us to do something as soon as that weather break. But it is.
That's right. Let's get it. Jeff, that was a good point, because I think with self-care, we always think about things that we should do for self-care, but sometimes it's things that we need to not do that is a part of self-care. Like you said, like saying, you know what, setting those boundaries. You know what, today I'm off. I'll be back. My office hours are from what, 9 to 5. After that, I'm not, like you said, I'm not, my out of office is on. I've even said sometimes to my clients, and I've gotten strict about this too, of this is my time that I'm available. You texted me at 10 o'clock at night, it's not an emergency, you're not traveling, I will happily respond when I'm back in the office on Monday at 9 a.m. So I think that's setting boundaries, as far as what you are or not going to do, I think is important. And that is a part of self-care.
Jeff, I don't know about you, but when she said my office hours are, why I see Big Red got somebody.
Big Red. My office hours are from 9 to 5. What are they? What are my office hours?
My office hours are.
Here we go. Self-care, Big Red. I love it. Shout out to Big Red.
Hey, you know what? Also, too, as far as self-care, a lot of times with us entrepreneurs, and I know I do this for a fact, that I feel guilty if I'm not working.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be doing something. And unfortunately, if you have that mentality, your life can get out of balance, and it can become really top heavy towards your business. And then a lot of other things in your life that are very important to you can suffer. Your family can suffer. Your health can suffer, your physical health, your mental health, all that can suffer. So you got to find that balance. And that balance may mean you need to step away from your work, no matter how hard it can be to do that. Because like I say, for me, I'm thinking of, my motto is, if I don't write, I don't eat. That's my motto. So if you guys see me, like I'm on Facebook, I'm always promoting stuff. I'm always writing something. If I'm not writing for someone else, I'm writing something for myself. Because if I don't write, I don't eat. So I figure if I'm not writing, I'm in trouble. But I need to step away from that. Like I said, I'm speaking from total personal experience. So whatever type of business you have, you need to remember that as well. So, it's all about that balance, and that self-care is key, because Letha, you said it perfectly. If you don't slow down, your body will shut you down. And then your self-care can last a whole lot longer than you want, because you need to get your health in order. And that could really sabotage your business too, because you just, hurt yourself in more ways than you ever imagined. And now you got to recover. And that could take a long time.
I know Jeff hasn't had to send me messages 2 o'clock in the morning, tell me to go to bed, and he's up.
Right.
And you thought I was just being mean. See?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good point, Jeff. I think back to even now, and I still am like that, like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But then sometimes I'll just stop and say, okay, does it have to be done right now? Yes, it's still on my to-do list. It's not going nowhere. It's something that I need to do. But do I have to do it right now this second, or can it wait till tomorrow morning when, my mind is clear, I'm not stressed, I'm not frustrated, I'm not, torn between, do I need to do this with my family and my kids, or do I need to send this email? So I think really, I think triage it, whatever's on your to-do list. So when you, and we get it, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're like, oh man, I need to send this email. Do you really need to send it right now? Or can it wait until, you get up? And that just takes that level of stress and anxiety away. You do not have to, if it does not need to be done right now in this second, it's going to easily roll over to tomorrow's to-do list, in my opinion. Triage it.
Look, and don't do like I do, because I convince myself if I don't write it at 2, I am not going to remember it at 7. So I make that excuse as I'm going to send this email now, but Chanel's right. It's a struggle, but it's a requirement. We need to focus on it as a requirement. Yeah, if you're going to be healthy to work for someone else, you definitely got to keep yourself healthier to work for yourself. But that is definitely what we want to be mindful of. So I am going to go ahead and head into last words. And Chanel, I'm going to let Jeff start out with the last words tonight.
All right, last words. This is a great show. This is something that I would have loved to have heard years ago. Just to know that it's okay. Your success can take some time. And if you got to get a job, full-time or part-time, it's okay. Do not beat yourself up, because a true entrepreneur, they're going to understand and they're going to support you. People who don't understand and they make fun of you, you don't need them people in your life. Stay focused on your goals. Surround yourself with positive people who are going to support you, whether you're a full-time entrepreneur or you are a ex-full-time entrepreneur. It's okay. We're going to support you because we understand how hard this is. What we want to see you do is keep following your dream. That's what we want to see. And we're going to encourage you to do it. We've all been there and it's okay. But remember, learn how to pace yourself. Self-care is very important, whether you are just a full-time entrepreneur, you still have to go work a regular job and do your business, because your body can only handle so much. So you want to make sure that you are very cognizant of your energy levels and how much energy you have to work towards your business, because that's the ultimate goal. But again, it's okay. It's okay. Remember your goal and just keep slow and steadily working towards your goal, and you will be that successful entrepreneur that you want to be, and you can inspire others who are in your shoes who are suffering in silence. It's okay. You can do it, and there are a lot of us out there willing to support you and encourage you during these difficult times that you may be facing.
Great, Chanel.
I feel like Jeff really summed that up for the most part. I think the only thing that I would add is, like I said, trust the process, get the job. Seriously, give yourself the grace and I'm going to say less stress, because obviously when we've gotten to the crossroad of having to step away from full-time entrepreneurship and get back into, a day job, that's a very critical point in entrepreneurship. But give yourself grace, trust the process, go in it with a mindset of how can I contribute to someone else? What can I learn? How can I grow? And who can I meet that's going to help me along the journey and get back to, the purpose at hand. So don't stop, like Jeff said. It's only the process.
I agree. And September may be self-care month, but that's something we need to concentrate as employees and as entrepreneurs on a regular basis. I remember, in the 90s when they started talking about work-life balances. Work-life balances. As an entrepreneur, you need to maintain that too, because your business is your work, right? So you got to keep things balanced. And as Jeff also noted, we were saying your health will let you know when you're not. So you definitely want to, focus on that before you just burn yourself out. And you can burn yourself out in corporate America and in entrepreneurship. So you definitely want to focus on those two things. We will definitely be posting on that. Enjoy the last 3 days of self-care. But remember, it should be every day of the year and not just the month of September. And we will have these uploads for you on Facebook, Instagram, and we're going to be making sure that we're posting our show more on LinkedIn as well. And we have a LinkedIn group. We'll be sharing more information about that. You can also always listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. So I will let this show end tonight. We thank everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.